They say curiosity killed the cat, but on the dark web, curiosity can do so much worse. I thought I was just poking around, exploring for the thrill of it, until I stumbled across it. An unmarked file with no name, no description, and no reason to exist. I should have ignored it, walked away like it wasn't even there. But I didn't. What I found inside wasn't just disturbing. It was alive, crawling into my life in ways I never imagined. Even now, I can't shake the feeling that it's still watching me. Some files are never meant to be opened. It started on a Friday night. My room was dark except for the faint glow of my laptop screen. I wasn't looking for trouble. I just wanted to see what was out there, hidden in the folds of the dark web. That's when I found it. A single folder named Oblivion. I don't really know why I spent so much time on the dark web. Curiosity, boredom, probably both. I wasn't one of those hackers or conspiracy guys. You know, the kind who brag about breaking into top-secret places online. No, I was just exploring, peeking into the corners of the internet where normal people don't go. That night, the house was quiet except for the sound of rain against the windows. The kind of night where it's easy to lose yourself in a rabbit hole. I was leaning back in my chair, half asleep, scrolling through forums that didn't even have names. Just strings of random letters and numbers. That's when I saw it. A site called The Vault. It was plain, minimalistic, black screen, blinking white cursor. There was nothing on it except for a folder. No owner, no date, no description, just a single word beneath it. Oblivion. For some reason I felt cold. I should have just backed out. Anyone with common sense would have ignored it, shut their laptop and moved on with life. But instead, I clicked. The folder opened instantly, like it was expecting me. Inside was one file, no name, no weird extensions, just playme.mp4. My cursor hovered over it. I hesitated. Every instinct told me don't, but then again, why was it there? Who put it there? I had to know. I clicked. The video loaded too quickly. Almost too quickly, like the file was already on my laptop. My video player popped up, and for the first few seconds, all I saw was static. There was a faint, low humming sound. Something strange about it, like it didn't belong. Then the video flickered and focused. It was my bedroom. I froze. I'm talking about my exact room. The same messy bed, the same cluttered desk, and the same window with streaks of rain running down the glass. Wait, what? I muttered under my breath. I leaned closer to the screen, confused. And that's when I saw it. In the far left corner of the video, something was standing there. A figure. Shadowy, featureless, just there, perfectly still. My breath caught in my throat. I turned and looked toward the corner of my room where the figure was in the video. Nothing. Just an empty patch of wall. I let out a shaky laugh, trying to calm myself down. It's just a prank. It has to be a prank. But when I looked back at the screen, the figure had moved. It was standing at the edge of my bed now, closer to the camera. It still had no face, but somehow I could feel it staring. I tried to close the video. I clicked the little X in the corner, but nothing happened. The video just kept playing. The hum got louder, distorted, like a low groan vibrating through my skull. The screen glitched, lines of static flashing across it, and then words appeared, large and white against the blackness. I'm already here. My room went completely dark. The lights had been on seconds ago. I know they had. But now, my laptop was the only source of light, casting a faint blue glow across the room. I sat there completely still, my ears strained against the silence. And then I heard it. Scratch, scratch, scratch. It was faint, coming from inside the walls. My skin prickled. I turned toward the sound, heart hammering in my chest. I whispered to myself, no, 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 no. The scratching stopped. The silence that followed was worse, deafening. I stood up. My chair scraped the floor as I moved. Every instinct was screaming at me to leave, but I couldn't. My feet felt like they were stuck in cement. Then I heard it. Faint and drawn out, from somewhere deep in the house came the sound of someone whispering my name. John. My phone buzzed in my pocket, startling me. I yanked it out and turned on the flashlight. The beam was weak, flickering like it couldn't decide if it wanted to work. I pointed it toward my bed, toward the closet, toward the corner of the room where the figure had been. Nothing. I grabbed my laptop, flipped it over, and ripped out the battery. The screen died instantly, but the hum, the awful vibrating hum, didn't stop. I don't remember much about running out of the house. I grabbed my keys, my phone, and didn't look back. I showed up at my friend Eric's place, pounding on his door like a maniac until he let me in. He looked me up and down, soaked from the rain, face pale, and asked, "What the hell happened?" I don't know. My computer got hacked or something, I stammered. I didn't know how to explain it without sounding insane. Eric frowned but didn't press me. "You're staying here tonight, I'll grab a blanket." I nodded, still shaking, and sank onto his couch. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I pictured the shadowy figure standing there, watching. The next morning I decided to go back. I don't know why. Maybe I thought I'd imagined the whole thing. Maybe I just wanted to get my laptop and prove to myself it was nothing. But when I stepped back into my house, it was like walking into a tomb. The air felt heavy, wrong, like the house itself knew what I'd seen. My laptop was still sitting on the desk, but the screen was cracked, shattered, like someone had punched it. On the keyboard, there was a note, a single piece of paper, typed out perfectly. "You looked too deep." I felt sick. My vision blurred as I backed away, my chest tight. I didn't touch the laptop again. I packed up my things and moved out a week later, telling everyone I just wanted a change of scenery. But the truth? I couldn't stay there. I couldn't stand the thought of being watched. I don't go on the dark web anymore. Hell, I don't even browse late at night. I wiped every trace of that folder from my life. But it doesn't matter. Sometimes, when I'm sitting alone in my new apartment, I hear it, just faintly. Scratch, scratch, scratch. And I know it's still out there, waiting. I once heard the dark web had places where information was sold like currency. It wasn't just bank accounts or passwords, it was secrets, the kind no one wants revealed. If you spend enough time on the dark web, you'll hear whispers about the places no one's supposed to find, not the stuff everyone talks about, illegal marketplaces, stolen credit cards, or even red rooms. This was something different. They called it the auction house, a hidden site accessible only if you had the right credentials, a place where secrets were currency. People didn't just sell information, they sold leverage. Affairs, crimes, betrayals, blackmail, things that could ruin lives. Most people only heard rumors. I found it. It happened late one night, the kind of night where sleep felt optional. I'd been clicking through a forum I shouldn't have been on, screens full of text, usernames like Ghost Cipher and Oblivion Gex. That's when I saw the link. Invitation to the auction house, one night only. Beneath it was a timer, counting down, 024712. I clicked the link. The screen went black, and then a simple message appeared. Access requires payment, 0.05 Bitcoin. At the time, that wasn't much, maybe a couple $100. I didn't even hesitate. Part of me just wanted to know what was behind the curtain. It felt exclusive, like I was seeing something I wasn't supposed to. Once the payment was confirmed, the screen shifted and the site loaded. The auction house wasn't what I expected. It was simple. No flashy graphics, no eerie music. Just a list of lots numbered like items at an estate sale. Next to each one were the words, verified authentic, highest bid wins. I scrolled through the list, feeling queasy. Lot 3 was evidence of infidelity, private client. Lot 5 was financial fraud records, CEO. Each item promised devastating secrets, things you'd only want if you were looking to destroy someone. Then I saw it. Lot 13, personal file, your darkest secret. The description read, "This file contains a truth you don't want exposed. Only the winning bidder will see it." I scoffed. My darkest secret? Yeah, okay. It felt like a gimmick, something to scare bidders into paying. But there was something about it that got under my skin. How could they know anything about me? Out of morbid curiosity, and maybe a little arrogance, I placed the minimum bid. It wasn't much, just 0.1 BTC. I was sure someone would outbid me, but no one did. When the timer hit 0, the screen refreshed and a message popped up. "Congratulations, lot 13 is yours." My stomach sank. I hadn't really expected to win. Almost immediately, an encrypted message appeared in my inbox with a download link. The file was labeled "for your eyes only.zip." I stared at it for a long time. My finger hovered over the mouse. What the hell did I just buy? Against every instinct I had, I clicked download. It was a small file, barely a couple hundred megabytes. I unzipped it, and inside was a single video file titled watchme.mp4. I swallowed hard. My room felt colder, darker than it had a moment ago. I turned off the lights, telling myself I was just being paranoid. Then I hit play. At first, the screen was black. There was no sound, no static, just silence. Then the video started. The footage was grainy, as if it had been shot through a low-quality camera. It took me a moment to realize what I was looking at. It was me. The video showed me sitting at my desk, right now. Same clothes, same posture. The footage was coming from behind me, like someone was filming through my window. My heart started pounding. I twisted around in my chair and stared at the window. It was dark outside, but I could see nothing, just rain streaking down the glass. I turned back to the screen. The video jumped to a new scene. This time, I was in my living room eating cereal while watching TV, something I'd done earlier that week. I started shaking. The footage kept changing. Me sleeping in my bed, scrolling on my phone, pacing while talking to myself. These were private moments, things no one should have seen. Then the final clip played. It showed my window again, filmed from the outside. This time, someone was standing there. A figure, motionless, watching. The screen went black, and words appeared. "Now I know your secret, too." I slammed my laptop shut and shot out of my chair. My mind was spinning. How? How did they get this footage? I paced the room, running my hands through my hair, my breathing shallow. My phone buzzed. I snatched it off my desk and looked at the screen. It was a text from an unknown number. "Payment required, 1 Bitcoin, or this file goes public." My blood ran cold. I didn't have that kind of money. Hell, I'd spent the last of my crypto on that stupid bid. I stared at the message, fingers trembling as I typed a reply. "Who are you? How did you get this?" The response was immediate. "You bought the secret. Now it's yours to keep, for a price." I tried everything I could think of. I ran virus scans on my laptop, reset my passwords, even shut down my Wi-Fi and went completely offline. But it didn't matter. The damage was done. Over the next hour, the messages kept coming, each one worse than the last. 1 Bitcoin, clock's ticking. Want to see more footage? I have plenty. Your friends and family would love this. At one point, they sent a still image. Me sitting on the couch, staring blankly at my TV. It was time-stamped from 3 days ago. I felt like I was losing my mind. Someone had been watching me for days, maybe weeks, and I hadn't noticed. I grabbed my laptop and tried to trace the source of the file. I figured if I could find out where it came from, I'd at least have something to fight back with. But as soon as I opened my browser, my internet cut out. My phone buzzed again. "Don't bother, we're already inside." I sat in the dark, staring at the glowing screen of my phone. My hands were clammy, my head pounding. I thought about calling the police, but what would I even say? That I bought a cursed file from the dark web, and now someone was blackmailing me with footage they shouldn't have? No one would believe me. For hours, I sat there, trapped in my own house, jumping at every creak and shadow. Every time I checked the window, I expected to see someone standing there. Around 4 a.m., I received one final message. "Last chance. Pay up, or we'll release everything." I stared at it, tears stinging my eyes. I had nothing left to give. Finally, I typed back, "Do whatever you want. I don't care anymore." I hit send and turned my phone off. The next morning, when I powered my devices back on, everything was silent. No messages, no threats. The file had disappeared from my laptop, as though it had never existed. For days, I lived in constant paranoia. I kept expecting the footage to show up somewhere online or in my friends' inboxes, but it never did. I don't know why they stopped. Maybe they got bored, or maybe it was all just a sick game. But every so often, I'll get a text from an unknown number. No message, just a blank screen, as if to remind me they're still out there, watching, waiting. I thought secrets only mattered when they were mine to keep. I was wrong. I used to think horror games were harmless, something to spook you for fun and let you sleep easy after. But this game wasn't like that. It wasn't meant to end. I've always loved old games. There's something nostalgic about pixelated graphics and chiptune music. Simple, harmless, and honestly kind of comforting. I guess that's why I didn't think twice when I found Welcome Home. It was on a shady, dark web forum, buried under threads full of encrypted nonsense and bizarre links. The post was simple: a game like no other. Download at your own risk. There was a single download link, no description, no comments. I thought it was just a weird indie horror game trying too hard to sound edgy. My curiosity got the better of me. I clicked. The file was small, just a few megabytes, and it came in an old-school zip folder. Inside was just one executable, welcomehome.exe. I booted it up, grinning to myself. Let's see what kind of cheap jump scares you've got. The game started with a black screen and white text. Welcome home. Press start, I hit enter. The screen flickered, and an 8-bit world appeared. Simple, almost charming. The graphics looked like they were straight out of an 1880s console. The character I controlled was a little pixelated guy with black hair and blue jeans. He looked weirdly familiar, but I brushed it off. The game dropped me into a house. It was small and basic, a bed, a desk, and a window. It looked a lot like my bedroom. I chuckled nervously. Okay, creepy coincidence. The music playing in the background was soft, like a lullaby, but distorted, slightly out of tune, like it was being played on a broken music box. As I explored the house, text boxes popped up. Welcome home. This is where you belong. I clicked through, walking the character to a mirror in the corner. Another text box appeared. Look closely. Do you recognize yourself? The screen zoomed into the mirror, and for a moment, the reflection wasn't just pixels. It was me. My heart skipped. No way. The reflection flickered back to pixel art, but I swear it had been my face. I shook my head, trying to laugh it off. Nice trick. Whoever made this is messing with me. I kept playing, exploring the house and trying to figure out the objective. The game didn't give me any hints, just small details that were too close to home. When I checked the desk in the game, the text box said, "You spend too much time here, always staring at a screen." I felt a chill run down my spine. The game knew. Then, As my character stood by the window, another message appeared. "You're not alone." The distorted lullaby cut out. Dead silence. I paused the game and glanced at my own window. It was dark outside, the rain tapping lightly against the glass. I didn't see anything, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me. I tried to exit the game, but there was no menu, no way to quit. When I hit escape, the character just froze, staring at the screen. Then the game typed, "Why do you want to leave? Look behind you." My stomach dropped. I didn't turn around. I sat there, motionless, my hands cold and clammy on the keyboard. It was just a game, right? It couldn't actually see me. The screen flickered, and my character, my avatar, started moving on its own. It walked across the room and stood in front of the game's version of my desk. Slowly it mimicked my real-life posture, hunched forward, staring blankly at the screen. "Nope," I muttered. "I'm done." I reached down to turn off my computer. The moment my hand touched the power button, the game froze. The music came back, low, droning and warped, and a new screen appeared. It was a map, not a game map, a real map. It was a perfect 8-bit recreation of my neighborhood, my street, my house. A tiny blinking dot showed my exact location. I jumped back from the desk, knocking my chair over. My pulse thundered in my ears as I stared at the screen. I couldn't breathe. This wasn't possible. It couldn't be possible. I yanked the power cord from the wall. My monitor went black and the music cut out, but I couldn't shake the feeling that the game was still there, watching. The silence in my room felt heavy, suffocating. I glanced toward the window again. The rain was still coming down, but for a split second I thought I saw movement, a shadow shifting just out of view. My phone buzzed, making me flinch. I grabbed it with shaking hands and looked at the screen. It was a text message from an unknown number. "You can't quit. Level 2 starts now." I stared at the message, my mind racing. I needed to get rid of the game. I pulled the computer apart, yanked out the hard drive and smashed it with a hammer. I wasn't thinking straight, I just wanted it gone. As I stood there, panting, surrounded by shards of plastic, my doorbell rang. I froze. It was nearly 3 a.m. No one should have been at my door. The ringing came again, longer this time, insistent. I grabbed a bat from my closet and crept toward the door. My heart felt like it was trying to claw its way out of my chest. I looked through the peephole, but no one was there. Slowly, I opened the door. The porch was empty. No cars, no people. Just the rain, still falling steadily. But sitting in the middle of the welcome mat was a small black flash drive. It was labeled Level 2. I didn't touch it. I couldn't. I slammed the door shut, locked every deadbolt, and sat on the floor with my back against the wall. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't move. I just sat there in the dark, bat in hand, staring at the door like my life depended on it. By morning, the flash drive was gone. I haven't seen or heard anything since. No more texts, no more games. But every night, as I sit at my desk, I feel it. The weight of something watching me, waiting. Sometimes I think I hear it too. A soft, distorted melody playing from somewhere far away. What would you have done? Would you have played on or broken the game like I did? I always heard about red rooms, those dark web streams where terrible things happen live. I never thought they were real. Then I saw it for myself. We've all heard the stories, urban legends about red rooms hidden deep in the dark web, places where people pay to watch unspeakable things happen in real time. Torture, kidnapping, worse. I thought they were myths, exaggerated to scare people like me away from exploring the darkest corners of the internet. But one night I found something that made me believe. It was late. The kind of late where everything feels quiet, like the world's holding its breath. I'd spent hours on forums I shouldn't have been on, jumping from thread to thread, looking for something. What exactly, I wasn't sure. I guess part of me wanted to see how deep the rabbit hole really went. That's when I saw the post. It was short and cryptic. Tonight, 3 a.m. password required. Room, your turn soon. Underneath was a link. No comments, no upvotes, just silence. I should have ignored it. I knew better. But curiosity has always been my worst habit. I copied the link and clicked. The site was bare bones, black screen, white text, a single login field with the words, "Enter password." I didn't have it, but something told me to try anyway. I typed the first thing that came to mind, "Your turn soon." The screen flickered, and I was in. The page loaded slowly, like it was reluctant to let me in. When it finally cleared, I saw the stream. It was a small, dimly lit room, almost empty. In the center sat a figure in a hooded sweatshirt, slouched in a chair, perfectly still. The hood was pulled low over their face, and they just stared at the camera. I frowned. What the hell is this? On the side of the screen, the chat was alive. Messages flooding in from anonymous users. "He's here. Welcome, new friend. Wait for it." I glanced at the viewer count, 01. It was just me. I shifted uncomfortably in my chair, the unease settling into my chest like a weight. I thought about closing the tab, but something held me there. Maybe it was the way the figure sat so still, like a statue, or the buzzing tension in the chat. Then the figure moved. It was subtle at first. The hooded head tilted slightly as though acknowledging me. Then the figure leaned forward, arms resting on their knees, still staring straight at the camera. My heart started to race. I kept telling myself it was just a prank, someone's idea of performance art. Then, without warning, the figure lifted a piece of paper into the frame. There was a name written on it in thick black marker. My name. I froze. I felt my breath catch in my throat as cold shock washed over me. I blinked, hoping I was seeing it wrong, but no, it was my name, clear as day. The chat exploded. "He knows! Say hi. Welcome, friend." I stumbled backward in my chair, my pulse hammering. My mind raced, trying to make sense of it. How could they know my name? I hadn't signed in, hadn't typed anything identifying myself. I grabbed my mouse, frantically trying to close the stream. The browser froze. The screen glitched, lines of static streaking across the figure's face. Then, the camera feed changed. It took me a second to realize what I was looking at. It was me. The stream now showed my room exactly as it was, my desk, my laptop, even the posters on my wall. And there I was, sitting at my desk, staring at the screen like an idiot. The webcam light on my laptop blinked on by itself. I screamed. I couldn't stop myself. I grabbed the laptop and slammed it shut, but the light was still glowing, still watching. In a panic, I ripped the power cord from the wall and yanked the battery out, my hands shaking. The room was silent. I stood there, frozen, breathing heavily as I stared at the dark laptop. My phone buzzed on the desk. I flinched, my entire body on edge, but I picked it up with trembling fingers. It was a notification, an email from a sender I didn't recognize. The subject line said, "We're watching." I dropped the phone and stumbled back, feeling like I was being crushed by the weight of the room. My brain kept trying to come up with explanations, a hack, spyware, a virus, but nothing made sense. Then my phone buzzed again and again. I picked it up. It was a text this time, from an unknown number. "Turn around." I didn't. I couldn't. I ran. I bolted out of the room, out of my apartment, and into the hallway, slamming the door behind me. I stood there barefoot, heart pounding, staring at my door like it might explode open. The hallway was quiet. Too quiet. I could still hear the faint buzz of my phone vibrating non-stop from inside the room. I didn't go back in, not that night. The next morning, I had a friend come over with me. I told him my computer had fried, but the truth was, I didn't want to be alone in there. When we went inside, everything seemed normal. The laptop was still in pieces on my desk. The phone was dead. There was no sign of the stream, no mysterious emails or texts. I started to convince myself that I'd imagined it, that it had all been a mix of stress, paranoia, and some kind of sophisticated malware. That was, until my friend pointed at the window. "Dude, what's that?" I turned to look. There, sitting on the windowsill, was a single piece of paper. It had my name written on it in black marker. I haven't watched another stream since. I won't even let my webcam stay uncovered anymore. I don't care if people call me paranoid, because now I know the truth. They're still watching. And maybe, just maybe, you're next. It was a folder I didn't download. It appeared on my desktop one night with no name, just a whisper of a sound coming from my speakers. It was almost 2 a.m. and I was still awake, half working, half procrastinating. My computer hummed softly, the screen the only source of light in my dark room. I hadn't noticed it at first. One moment, my desktop was clear. The next, there it was. A folder. No name, no icon, just a blank, pale yellow folder sitting at the corner of my desktop. I frowned, leaning closer. Where did you come from? I didn't remember downloading anything, and my browser history confirmed it. I hadn't clicked a link or opened a file. When I hovered my mouse over the folder, my speakers crackled softly. Then, faintly, I heard it. Whispers. At first I thought it was static, maybe a glitch. But no, the sound was deliberate. A low, breathy voice murmuring words I couldn't quite make out. It sent chills crawling up my arms. I moved the cursor away, and the whispers stopped. "Okay, that's creepy," I muttered to myself. I grabbed my antivirus software and ran a full scan. It came up empty, no threats, no suspicious files. But when I looked back at my desktop, the folder was still there. I tried to delete it. I right-clicked and hit delete. Error, file cannot be deleted. I tried dragging it to the recycle bin. Nothing. At this point, my unease was starting to turn into full-blown anxiety. I couldn't explain it, but I felt like the folder was watching me, waiting for me to open it. Finally, I gave in. Fine, I thought. Let's see what's inside. I double-clicked. The folder opened, and my stomach dropped. Inside was a single image file. No name, no extension, just a blank square thumbnail. My mouse hovered over it, and the whispers started again. Louder this time, closer. I hesitated, then clicked. The photo opened, and I froze. It was a picture of me. I was lying in bed, asleep. The shot was taken from above, perfectly framed, as though someone had been standing over me. I stared at the screen, my pulse pounding in my ears. My brain scrambled for explanations. A prank, a virus pulling webcam footage. But no, this wasn't from my webcam. It was too clear, too real, and I hadn't been asleep yet. I slammed the laptop shut, chest heaving. I sat in the dark, every sound amplified. The ticking clock, the hum of the computer fan, my own ragged breathing. After a moment, I forced myself to open the laptop again. The folder was still there, now sitting dead center on the desktop like it wanted me to see it. The whispers started immediately. I clicked back into the folder. There was another image. It showed me lying in bed again. But this time, the angle was lower, like the camera had moved closer. My face was visible now, peaceful, unaware. I felt like I was going to be sick. I tried to delete the folder again, same error. I dragged it, I rebooted the computer. Nothing worked. When the desktop reloaded, there were 3 new photos waiting for me. The third image was worse. It showed me from the foot of the bed, my entire body in view. The fourth was closer. The camera had moved right up to the edge of the mattress. My blanket was half pulled back, and my face was turned toward the camera. My skin prickled as I stared at the fifth and final photo. There was something else in the picture, a figure. It was blurry and shadowed, but unmistakable. Standing at the foot of the bed was a tall, dark figure. Its shape wrong somehow, elongated, like it didn't quite belong. The whispers in my speakers grew louder, overlapping and frantic, like dozens of voices fighting to be heard. I slammed the laptop shut again and bolted upright. My eyes darted to the corners of my room, my bed, the closet. Nothing. I was alone, but I didn't feel alone. I grabbed my keys and ran. That night, I slept in my car. It was freezing, and I was jumpy at every sound, but I couldn't go back inside. Not after what I'd seen. I didn't sleep much. My mind wouldn't stop racing. Who had taken those pictures? How had the folder appeared on my computer? By morning, I decided to go back to the house. I wasn't thinking clearly. I just wanted to grab my essentials and get out. When I opened the door, the first thing I noticed was the silence. The house felt dead, like something had drained the life out of it. Then I saw the mess. My room had been completely torn apart. The mattress was flipped, drawers pulled from the dresser, clothes scattered across the floor. The laptop sat open on the desk, screen cracked down the middle. But the worst part was the wall. Carved deep into the plaster in long, jagged letters were the words, "I found you." I stumbled back out of the house, heart pounding. I didn't stop running until I was halfway down the street. Later that day, I wiped the laptop clean. I scrubbed every file, every folder, until it was blank. I didn't care about saving anything. I just wanted it gone. But sometimes when I sit in a quiet room, I still hear it. A faint, breathy whisper, right at the edge of hearing. Have you ever found something on your computer that wasn't yours? What did you do? I wiped the computer clean the next day, but some things don't just disappear. I've learned one thing exploring the dark web. There are some files you're never meant to open. It doesn't matter if it's curiosity, boredom, or just sheer arrogance that drives you. You think you're in control. You think it's just a game, a story, a file, a stream. But sometimes clicking that link is like opening a door you can't close. The scariest part. It all starts so small. A folder with no name. A file that whispers when you hover over it. A video that shouldn't exist, but does. You tell yourself it's just code, just pixels on a screen. But what if it's not? What if there's something darker behind it? Something real? That's what haunts me the most. I look back now and wonder, could I have stopped? Could I have ignored the file, the link, the game? Maybe, but I didn't. And that's the thing about curiosity. It always wins, even when you know better. Would you have done anything differently? Would you have played the game, opened the folder, or stayed to watch that live stream? Or would you have shut it all down and walked away? I'd like to think I won't make the same mistake again, that I'll think twice before clicking anything I don't recognize, but the truth is I don't know if I could resist it. What about you? If you enjoy stories like these, don't forget to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe for more terrifying tales from the hidden corners of the internet. And remember, sometimes the scariest things are the ones you can't explain. Stay safe and think twice before clicking, because some doors aren't meant to be opened.